Hey there, good morning and happy Friday. Today is Friday, March 27th, aka day 8 of learning at home. So as I've told a lot of you guys and your parents, I will find out today during my meeting with the principals and my colleagues what the plan is for next week, because as of 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to be going back to school next week, but we will have a more definitive answer this afternoon, so I will keep you guys well informed. Okay. All right, so I want to quickly get to the assignments for today. All right, so as usual, reading, writing, and math. Reading workshop, I want you to continue to independently read 30 to 40 minutes, and then 20 to 30 minutes on reading eggs or keyboarding without tears. Important announcement: Mrs. Barnes has shared with me her Google Classroom code in case any of you are in need of a book or the books that you brought home with you are finished. Instead of reading the same books over and over again, Mrs. Barnes has given us access to her virtual library. So today, during our 11:30 meeting, I will be sharing that code with you and instructions as to how to get into this virtual library, okay? But I want you just to be aware that there is a virtual library that you can access from your Chromebook through Google Classroom. But I will give you guys instructions as to how to do that when I meet with you video conference at 11:30, okay? All right, writing workshop today. You will be re-watching the video called The Present and answering the 2-point response question. The present, we've already seen this video together in my classroom. It's the digital short showing the little boy's playing video games. His mom got him a new dog, and at first he could care less about the dog, whatever. The dog has 3 legs, and after a while, the dog kind of makes the boy feel a little something different, and you see a change in the character. You guys can re-watch that by going to YouTube. You're already here, great. Go to the search bar, and you can type in The Present, okay? And then the 2-point response, you can find that question on the back of the question from Pip from the other day, okay? All right, now for math. I want you guys to try your best to do pages 523 through 528. When you get there, you'll notice that this is the end of the chapter. Okay, I told you this chapter goes by really fast. So just give it your best shot and do the end of the chapter test. That starts on page 523. When you finish with that, I want you doing worksheet number 8. That is day 8, math worksheet. And then wrap up your math work today with about 15 minutes on Dreambox. Now, for the 9 of you who met up with me yesterday afternoon on our Google Hangouts meet, I gave you a suggested schedule for your day, okay? And I told you this is just a suggestion. You don't have to do it this way. But in my professional opinion, students do a lot better when they have a structure and they have an idea of what lays ahead of them. So I just want to quickly remind you of that recommended daily schedule. Where is it? Here we go. All right, so my suggested schedule to you, I hope you guys can see this, okay, is I want you guys to, first thing in the morning, I want you to be watching my YouTube video for the day just to get an idea of what your assignments are. And then I suggest you getting right to math first thing in the morning. And the reason I suggest that is because at 11:30 when you video conference with me, you can ask me any questions you have about the math assignments, and I'll be able to answer it during our video conference, okay? So again, that is going to be about an hour for math, and then I want you to do some reading. That should be about an hour, and then that will lead you right to 11:30 for our video conference. So by the time I video conference with you every day, I would like you to already have math and reading finished. And then after our video conference, you can do your writing assignments. All right, that way you guys are done by 1 o'clock every day. But again, this is just my recommendation, my suggestion. If what you've been doing is working for you, fine. But if you and your family feel like you need a little bit more guidance and organization and structure in your life, then I suggest you follow that recommended schedule. Okay? All right, so I want to quickly forecast writing and math. Okay, so for writing workshop today, you'll be rewatching the video called The Present and writing a 2-point response. Reminder, guys, writing a 2-point response, I'm looking for you to state your claim or state your answer, and then give 2 text details to show or support your answer. I want to give a quick shout out to Patrick and Jaylyn, because they actually decided to type up their 2-point response from yesterday and they sent it to me. That way I can read it and give you guys feedback. So that's kind of the direction I want us to head in starting next week. I want you guys to be sharing your work with me. That way I can still continue to monitor how you're doing and things I can help you guys with through my videos, and also to give you guys individual feedback as well, okay?
I want more strawberry.
Okay, can you wait 1 more minute? I'm almost done with my work. Okay, baby? All right, so here's the question for today's video. Based on the digital text, The Present, how does the author develop the theme in the text? Use 2 details to support your answer. Okay, so the first thing I want to think about is, okay, well, what is the theme of The Present? What is the life lesson, the moral of the story? What does the reader or the character learn through this digital text? And then ask yourself, okay, so if I know what the theme is, I need to think, well, what does the author do, or what does the author show to help me learn what the theme is? Does the author use dialogue? Does the character's dialogue help us learn what the theme is? Or does the dog's actions or the little boy's actions help us figure out what the theme is? So what exactly is the author or the filmmaker doing to help us show and learn and understand what the theme is? Okay? So you guys can write your answer on that paper I provided, or since you have a computing device, you could type your answer and then share it to me. That way I can check your work and give you some great feedback. Okay? All right, I am not going to go into depth about the Go math work because, like I said, I want you to try what you can, and whatever questions you do have, bring them with you to our 11:30 video conference. And that way I can help everybody at the same time, okay? All right, worksheet number 8, day 8. This is your last math worksheet in that packet. So question number 1 was talking to you about stamps, okay? There was 100 stamps, and they wanted to know, how can you interpret this as a fraction? So I thought, okay, well, 100 divided by 8 gives me a quotient of 12 and a remainder of 4. Ainsley, can you whisper? Thank you, baby. So when I divide 100 divided by 8, my answer is 12, remainder 1. But if you recall back to, to November, I taught you that you should interpret the remainder as a fraction. Now, what that meant was I wanted you to take the remainder and put it into a fraction. So the remainder is the numerator, and then the divisor is the denominator. So when I divide 100 divided by 4, my quotient is 12, my remainder is 4, and the divisor was 8. So my answer would be 12 and 4/8. Now on your worksheet, if you want to try and simplify 4/8, that would be pretty cool. Okay, number 2, they ask you to give the improper fraction for 7 and 5/6. Reminder, turning a mixed number into an improper fraction means you multiply the denominator and the whole number, add the numerator, and then your denominator will stay the same. Same thing for number 3. Number 3, you're also taking this mixed number and turning it into an improper fraction. How do you do that again, Mrs. Bowers? Well, you multiply the denominator and the whole number, add the numerator, and your denominator will stay the same. Number 4, they're going to ask you to take this improper fraction, 56/6, and turn it into a mixed number. I taught you last week there are 2 ways to do this. You could draw a model, or you could use long division. Okay? All right, guys, so that's my video for this morning. Now that I got a lot of you guys with a Chromebook and access to our Google Hangouts, I'm going to talk to you guys at 11:30 today about the Troy Virtual Library. So if you don't have any more books at home, or the books that you did bring home from school, you've already read them, I'm going to get you access to the Troy Virtual Library. So that's what we'll be doing today. Along with, I have some great news. Mrs. Vansicle and Coach Anthony have linked up to our Google Classroom. So Mrs. Vansicle is going to be posting videos of her doing read aloud. So she'll be reading to you, asking you questions through a read aloud. So she's linked up through our Google Classroom ELA classroom. So we can catch up with her there. And that's not just for her intervention group, that's for my entire class. Also, Coach Anthony reached out to me last night, and she wanted to share some really great workouts and physical games you can do while you're at home. So she's linked up to our Google Classroom homeroom. So keep an eye out for anything that she's going to post there. But we'll talk more about that, and I'll show you how to navigate through all this virtual learning when I meet with you at 11:30 this morning. Okay? All right, guys, so if you are gonna stick to my suggested schedule, after you finish this video, go right into your math work, then right into reading, and then I will see you guys at 11:30 for our daily video conferencing. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.